going live to YouTube. And let's see, get this downloaded. Hey everybody, thanks for joining the stream. We'll be starting the show very soon here. We just got to do some sound testing, but we got a great show today. We got AK and we have special guest Millennial Spike Lee, who is an American. God damn it. And as always, we invite you to comment below the page on the Black Republican, Black Democrat show page, and then your comments will be shown on screen. So get in on the debate. We might be light voices on the left, so we can use you. We can use the help. We can't let AK win. At least not uncontested. It's anti-democratic. Not that Republicans like democracy. Pretty clear they want to overthrow.
We clearly
oh, my mic's still on. Whoops.
We clearly like constitutional republics.
I see. What about the guy who gets elected president? Do you want him to be president? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Because our Constitution says that we have one.
I would agree. Have you, maybe this is too heavy for like pre-show chatter here. Have you ever like publicly condemned the insurrection? Do you feel that way about it? God, Jamar's trying to join the chat.
Do I feel that it was an insurrection?
Yes.
No.
Ooh, what an interesting conversation. So Jamar's here to mess up the entire thing. Here it is. This is killing me. And I don't mean ruin in content. He's obviously a brilliant content.
He's a brilliant mind.
I didn't say that. Contributor to the content.
A beautiful mind.
A beautiful mind.
A beautiful mind.
All right. And Jamar, are you here with us?
Let's see if this works again.
Hey, that's pretty clear.
That is pretty clear.
I'm in a bit of a town, so hopefully this works.
Well, you're out there doing God's work, man. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You don't just talk about being a political mind. You're out there doing it.
Yeah, that's just true. I appreciate that. That's true.
Yeah. I doubt Tucker Carlson is out there knocking on doors.
I think with that money, I would if I were him. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if Tucker Carlson knocked on doors, he'd probably get assassinated or kidnapped.
My death with his ass.
Too big of a name. Too big of a name.
But right now, it sounds okay though, right?
Yes, it does.
No, you sound great, man.
And we'll be ready in about 30 seconds.
Okay. Wait. I love it, but I think this thing's on a great thing.
All right, AK, the show is all yours whenever you're ready.
All right. Welcome to Black Republican, Black Democrat. I'm your co-host, AK Kamara.
I'm your traveling co-host, Jamar.
Welcome, Jamar. So if you guys don't notice, Jamar is not here with us physically, at least with me in this studio. He is traveling abroad. So we have his lovely voice, and we actually have his face. It's pretty large, but how you doing, man? How's your week been, brother?
It's been it's been pretty good, bro. I'm blessed. So God is good. Amen. Right? No, it's been really well. I love that guy sitting next to you. It's a really great looking dude sitting next to you.
Yeah,
He's fantastic.
it's great because he can't pound on the table or anything. So let
It's
me.
true. You know what?
How was your
I'm
Easter,
thinking
bro?
about
How was your Easter, man?
Easter. He has risen. No, Easter was really good. It was fun. I spent it with my family and kids, and we didn't do any Easter egg hunting, but it was pretty cool.
So my niece, shout out to my niece Amelia, she turned 18 this
Amen.
weekend, man, and it's crazy because everybody talks about like when you're growing up, how you get older, and you're just like it's crazy when you see these little babies becoming adults. And I remember my niece Amelia was like 5 months old when me and Beth, Beth and I got married. Not even, no, she's like 3 months old, 3 months old, yeah. And so it's just like when you look at our wedding photos, we're holding our little baby niece Amelia, and she turned 18, and she's got the attitude, she's got the whole nine. But that was great. So shout out to my niece Amelia, happy birthday, love you. Also had a great Easter, man. Got together with my wife's family, ate a bunch of ham, played some Call of Duty with my nephew, and he stomped me like 30 different ways. I can't beat an 11-year-old, so he's just slaying me left and right, man.
You bad, man.
Well, thank you everybody for joining the show. I'd appreciate if you guys haven't done so already. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that share button. We got a really good episode lined up for today. If you guys haven't done so already, please make sure to visit our link tree. That's how you're going to get connected with Jamar and I on all of our socials, our TikTok, our Instagram. You're going to be able to connect with us on all different platforms. Be able to listen to our Rumble feed, the whole 9 yards. But most importantly, when you visit that link tree, you'll be able to actually become a contributor to the show. If you like the work that we do, if you think we have interesting conversations, please visit our Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com/BRBD. Become a contributor. 100% of the proceeds of your contribution go to the production of the show. None of it goes to my pocket or Jamar's pocket. So if you like what it is that we do, please sign up. We're also talking about doing, some giveaways for different sponsorship levels. So that's a very important aspect of it as well. We got these hats, Black Republican, Black Democrat. We're coming out with some more merchandise, so please do that as well. And also, I want to thank our sponsor. We have a new sponsor last week, TakeCharge Minnesota. And we ask that anybody that is considering, like they like our show, you want to be a sponsor, send us an email. Send us, connect with us on social media, and we'd love to be able to see whether or not you can become a sponsor with us. But TakeCharge Minnesota is doing the job of restoring the two-parent Black family as a key priority. They're also embracing the 3 foundational values of faith, family, and getting a better education for our children. Take Charge Minnesota is releasing a film entitled I Am a Victor on May 6th, which chronicles the 2 cultural paths followed by Black Americans as a result of those 2 paths over the last 50 years since the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Please visit the film's website, IamAVictor.com, to sign up and stay up to date on the latest news about the movie. And go ahead and play that trailer for me.
What Martin Luther King did, that was pretty fast forward and just really changing the mindset in many people. The start of that, you're gonna treat a human being like another human being.
And that's a dream that I shared, and that's the road I thought we were on.
We are not victims.
So again, thank you to our new sponsor. Also, if you haven't had a chance and you're driving around Minneapolis, you're feeling a little thirsty, maybe you need to get some postage, maybe you need to get a money order, please visit the Weber Mart. The Weber Mart. The Weber Mart is a convenience store that has everything that you could need from a convenience store. So please visit the Weber Mart. Again, they're another sponsor of ours. And again, if you have a business, you have something that you think you could reach a large audience of people that are like-minded, that want to be able to further conversations regardless of ideology, send us an email and love to have you as a sponsor. So Jamar, man, have you heard there was a poll that was released? I know you love polls.
Yeah.
But this one's interesting. It's really interesting. So NBC released information from a poll that was done that surveyed Americans and asked them simple questions about how they identify themselves and if it's important for them that race is an identifying factor. Did you see any of this at all?
I did not.
So the reason that I want to talk about it with you is we've had a lot of conversations about identity. I clearly am a person that is black. Anybody that sees me recognizes that I am black. But
Okay.
because I am not an identitarian, I actually view myself
What a Harriet.
an identitarian. I view myself as an American, man. That's how I view myself. But the survey found that 76% of black Americans believe that the most important part of their identity is the fact that they're black. Yeah.
Absolutely. You damn right.
So let's talk about it, man. I mean, is that number too low for you? Are you surprised? Do you think it should be higher?
It definitely should be higher. I would think more than at least 90% of black folks would say that their most identifying quality is being black, and especially I love being a proud black man, bro. And let me say this too to our listening audience, that my voice might get choppy because I'm traveling for work, so I'm going through the woods. I'll be in a bigger town in a few minutes, so sorry about that if my audio starts sounding bad. But absolutely, I would think it would be a bigger number that most folks would say that being black would be the most important thing to them. Again, these polls, I wonder where they're polling folks at, because you go around the black folks I know, that number would have been much, much higher, because I think over the last 2 years, especially since President Obama was elected, black identification, the height of it went up. And so I think the millennials, like your niece who turned 18, my boy who turned will be 20, being black is the number one identifying factor to be proud of, and speaks of who you are. So yeah, I think the number's way too low.
So let me flip this around. So if you had to take a guess, what percent of white people viewed that their whiteness was a major part of how they identify? If you had to guess, what do you think the number was?
White folks lie all the time. I would say about 85% of those folks said that.
Nah, it's less than 9%. Less than 9%. Yeah.
Less than 9% of white folks?
Less than 9% of white folks said that race was basically their most identifying aspect of who their identity is. So the thing that's interesting, right? So the thing that caught
their money. Yeah.
Well, so here's the aspect, right? I think that when you break it down, 14% of black Americans said that their race had nothing to do with their identity. 14%. And then 9% said that it had somewhat of a factor on their identity. Now, for me, I'd probably fall in that somewhat to nothing. And the reason why is because I think, listen, like, I know that people see me as a black person. You know, I can't change that. But you want to know what I would love? I would love if people didn't see me as anything. They just saw me as a human being. That's what I wish. And so to me, if I want to manifest that, I can't sit there and say that I want people to see something different. Now, we've had conversations about this. You believe that the idea of being colorblind is preposterous, that someone has to be able to recognize your color. I actually believe that being colorblind is really good. Like, if I see someone and I'm interacting with them as a person, if the last thing that I'm thinking about is what is their ethnicity, I think that's powerful, because then I have no preconceptions about what they might be or what they might not be. In the same way that if I see someone that looks like they're poor, if I identify that was a poor person, would I talk to them differently like a poor person? Or would I say, that's just a person? So that's, to me, that's what the goal is just to try and interact and relate to people as human beings. But I just thought it was so interesting that white people, again, and it's funny because when you actually break it down along even political lines of like Republican and Democrat to see like who it was more important to. This is another aspect of this survey was asking, do you think your race gives you an advantage in life? And it was like 68% of Democrats said yes, and like 9% of Republicans, or 8% of Republicans, something like that, said yes. And what was interesting too is that like only 54% of blacks said that it was a disadvantage, that they felt that it was a disadvantage for them. So it was just interesting, man. When I was reading through all this data, because it broke down other races, the second highest that identified that race is an important part of their identity was Asian Americans. And then Hispanic Americans was only like 30%. And like I said, for white people, the vast majority of white people don't think that their racial identity has anything to do with their identity of how they.
Folks are lying. Come here, boy. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that sometimes having white privilege gives you just that privilege. And here's why. I tell my white friends that I know, and even white folks that I'm just dealing with, when I hear that, when they say the word, I don't see color. No, you should see color. I want you to see me as a black man that's gone through different plights to get where I'm at, or that's the very reason there are roadblocks in front of me. So you should see me. You should see when someone says, no, I don't see color. No, I want you to see color. I want you to see me as a black man, because if you don't see color, then you don't recognize me as a black man and the struggles of my community or folks that look like me. Poor folks, I mean, they come in all colors, right? But again, they're treated just the same. So I think that I want to know where they went and did these polls at, who they were polling, because again, I always roll my eyes at some polls because you don't see posters down in downtown Minneapolis or in the hood of North Minneapolis, right? They try to send these polls via social media, your phone. They're not actually door knocking. So I just kind of roll my eyes at that. And I'm just a little shocked because I know too many folks that are black that are not only proud, but would say that that's the number one reason why a lot of their some of the bad things that happen to them in life is simply because we are black. So I'm not going to give the total middle finger, but somewhat.
Yeah, man. I just think that it's an interesting aspect because again, for myself, if I were to be asked that question, I'd probably fall into somewhat to not really.
Where I fall at.
Oh, you 100%. You're like, yep. If I had to give my order of identity, number one is I'm black, and then number two would be like I'm a Christian. Number three would be like I'm a man. But number one would be you're black. Yeah, man. So this week we have a guest that comes from a realm that I've recently entered, and that's the world of TikTok. TikTok is such an interesting place. There's so many different dynamic personalities on TikTok, and it's really highly engaging. And so I met our guest actually on TikTok. The way that TikTok's algorithms work is it will feed you information to what it thinks you like. And so I'm obviously like on political TikTok, but I'm also on like black political TikTok as well. So somehow the algorithm has kind of pushed me to that as a certain aspect. And so I saw all of these videos, and I saw live, and I started following this guy, Millennial Spike Lee, and he's such an interesting person. And he and I have had a lot of opportunity to have small conversations, but I wanted to bring him on. So Spike, thank you for joining the show, man.
Tap in.
Tap in.
That's what I do. I tap into very interesting conversations, and I just give my 2 cents. Millennial Spike Lee is an avatar, an American avatar that was created by the creator. We're not going to say who his name is, but I'm an avatar on TikTok, and I challenge narratives. I used to be a liberal. I'm an ex-liberal, ex-Democrat, and I have spent some time going the other direction. And it's been interesting what I found out, not only about myself, but about society as well. And so I was tapping and listening into you guys' conversation, and there's a lot of truth to both of what you guys are saying. And there's a lot of stuff that we don't really spend enough time talking about or aren't even aware of in regards to what you guys are talking about. Well, the whole reality of like this identity of Black people, right? So Black people wearing their color as like their first thing. That's a huge problem. It's a huge problem,
It's a
right?
huge problem.
It's a huge problem because if you see yourself first as black and only black, and you're indoctrinated, this is a word I want to plant right here. I just want to plant the seed right here. And I challenge thought. That's all I do. I challenge narratives. I challenge the way people think. So if you're indoctrinated into thinking that because you are black, you are going to have issue in the world, then so be it. It will be, and everything that happens to you will be seen in the lens of, well, you're doing this because I'm black. You're not giving this to you because I'm black. That to me is a form of indoctrination. So we have to talk about that. We don't talk about that enough in black culture. And the same on the other side of that with white people. When you said that white people don't, I think it's like less than 9% of white people see themselves as white. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah,
AK?
yeah. It's that they don't view it as the main part of their identity.
The problem with white people is this, and I know this because I talk to a lot of white people who think that I'm this conservative Republican, Trump hat. They think I'm this guy, right? They think I'm this guy, and that's okay, right? Because this is all a social experiment. So they think I'm this guy, and I get in there and I talk to them about it. The biggest thing with white people is that they don't realize that they are part of the problem, right? That's problematic. That's problematic as well. And so you have these two things that are happening on both sides that neither side is talking about. And what's happening is the stuff that we are talking about, we don't actually really care about. Those are my thoughts on that.
So Spike, let me
talk about. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me just ask you, like, introduce our audience to a little bit about yourself. Now, you said that you used to be a former liberal. Can you tell me? Can you tell me more about that? Like, what has your journey in politics been like up to this point? And you can give us, the abridged version. Give us the main meaty good parts.
Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, so I was told Democrat before. I was all about Black Lives Matter. I was that guy before, right? Then we had a pandemic, and this pandemic woke a lot of people up. On top of some very key things that were happening in society and in our country that woke a lot of people up. This dude had a lot to do with waking a lot of people up because there was a shift. There was a shift. Trump said some things that Black people listened to. One of the first things that Trump said, and what I heard was, Black people, what the hell do you have to lose, right? That resonated with me, and I was like, that's interesting. And then Biden doubled down on it and said, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Those are the same things. Those are the same things.
Okay.
Those are the exact. They were both the same. He didn't say what?
That's not what he said. He didn't say you weren't black if you didn't vote for me. That's not what he said.
And that's exactly what he said. He said you wouldn't be black if you didn't vote. That's what I heard. And that was my perception of it. That's what he did say, that as far as I'm concerned. I disagree with you. So they, as far as I'm concerned, those are the exact same things, right? And so I heard that, and so it gave me pause. And so after the pandemic happened, I just started challenging narratives that I've always been subscribed to. I've always been subscribed to as a black man wearing black on my skin, right? I'm this black man first. I challenged these narratives on TikTok, and it went viral. I went viral for it. A lot of people thought that I was pandering or whatever, and that's part of that indoctrination, right? If a black man comes out and says, "Hey, I'm not oppressed," then the first people that have an issue with that are the black people who have been indoctrinated to believe that they are oppressed in America and that the white man's holding them down. But the black people in America cannot say one thing in regards to what is actually holding them back. And that's the question that I asked. The biggest question that I asked is I said, black people, racism doesn't hold you back. And if it does, this doesn't tell me how racism has held you back. Not one, but it went absolutely viral. It went absolutely viral on TikTok. Millions of people saw it. And the reality is that no one can answer it. Here's what they spoke of. Here's what black people spoke of. I didn't get a job. I didn't get a promotion. I didn't get that apartment. I didn't get that bank loan. Okay, you do know these things do happen to white people as well. And so what happens is that again, what happens is, and now don't get me wrong, what black people wanted to bring up was they wanted to bring up redlining. They wanted to bring up what happened with this, what happened with this. And so hold on. I've done this work. And I'll explain it to you. The issue with that is this. Is that black people, indoctrinated black people, we talk about this. We do this group think, right? Where it's like, we have been held back. Okay, well, hold the phone. In our lifetime, how has racism held you back? Not us, you. How has it held you back? And black people can't answer that question. And it triggers a lot of black people. It makes them mad because because now you're having to face yourself. You're having to face yourself and realize that, oh, maybe I haven't been held back. And the problem with that is that we can't push the conversation forward because we want to immediately call me the C word or the Uncle Tom or something like that for asking the question, but answer the question, right? Spend some time and really answer the question. We can't. If we're really being honest, we can't, because what we want to bring up is an apartment, a job loss, or something like that. And you might have just been dealing with an asshole, right? Assholes, exist in the world, and they might not like you because they were an asshole. And so when we connect there, you see where the real issues are, is that we can't even speak for ourselves. We always have to list someone else's journey, someone else's problem. Well, what about Ahmaud Arbery? What about Breonna Taylor? Okay, well, what about you? What about you? I get that. Listen, I get that. We can talk about bad policing. Now, we can talk about bad policing and inappropriate policing all day. We can do that. But how has racism held you, the individual, back? We can't answer that in society. And so we kept pushing that. I kept pushing that and having those discussions. And let me tell you, man, it's been one of the most eye-opening things that I've ever done in my life. And so as I continued my journey, right, just kind of challenging these narratives, you know what I found? The most racism, the most discrimination, the most horrible things that I experienced came from my own people by asking very simple questions. Well, how has it held you back, the individual? Well, you're a coon, you're this, you're this, you're this. Hold on now. I used to be you. Like, let's pause for a second. I used to be you, right? Like, I used to be a Democrat, I used to be a liberal. I used to fight the same thing. But now, because I ask a question, I'm not. For me, that's indoctrination. And so that to me is where a lot of Black people who say, and Jamar, when you said, I'm a proud Black American, so am I. But I'm not seen as a proud Black American from my own people because I put on a Trump hat. I went to a Trump rally, and I went live. And you would not believe the amount of racism and discrimination and just hurtful things that were said to me by my own people for just attending a Trump rally. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Republican. I'm just an ex-Democrat. I'm an ex-Democrat. And the labels and the boxes that I get put in by my own people, it speaks to the mental oppression that we are going through as a society. And Black people in America, we need to wake up and realize that this stuff that we're fighting, we don't really care about. We're sitting here looking for racism. Not one of us can prove racism. We have a feeling that it's racism because we've been indoctrinated to believe that anything bad that happens to you is because you're Black. That's a heavy weight to carry.
I heard you, and I tried to sit here patiently and listen to you and let you speak.
Okay.
That's bullshit. Because don't sit here and tell me that it's indoctrination when folks are going through racism on a daily basis.
Have you?
Let me finish. I let you talk. Then I let you talk. Okay.
You said my opinion was bullshit though, but go ahead.
So excuse me. So just because you bump into some people who can't tell you or identify things that happen to them via racism, that makes you think that racism doesn't exist, that they're not going through it, that folks that look like them doesn't go through racism. And then for you to say that, but so are you one of these folks that because we elected a Black president, the racism has gone away? It doesn't exist anymore? You just said that gerrymandering, redlining, that doesn't exist, and that's not racism, that doesn't prevent. Well, then what are you saying, bro? What did you say?
Let's pause. First of all, let's pause. This is also what happens in our culture. Is our emotions get out of whack, and we hear what we want to hear.
You ain't saying that yet. No, I heard what you said, and that is what you said. Just like you said, President Biden said if you didn't vote for him, you weren't Black. He said that. He didn't say that. So there you go.
I heard him.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I heard Biden say you wouldn't vote for. He said so, he did.
Here's what he said. Here's what he said. Charlemagne the God, right, on the Breakfast Club, said, "Do you have anything that you want to say?" And Joe Biden said, "Well, I'll tell you." He's like, "Why should you vote for?" He goes, "If you have anything you say to Black people, what should you say? Why should they vote for you?" And he goes, "Well, I can tell you that if you don't vote for me, then you ain't Black." And then Charlemagne the God said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," and he's like, he was trying to be whatever. Yeah, but that's how I heard it.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what he just said? That's what he said, and that's what I heard. And that's what I'm speaking to now. So it's curious to me how you didn't hear what he just said, and that's what I heard. And that's a problem that happens in Black culture.
No, what's a problem though? It's also a problem that you have people that, like yourself, bro, that when they bump into black folks that have a different experience from you, that all of a sudden you call them indoctrinated, that their experiences
What did you
aren't
just do
real
to me,
and what's
though?
happening.
What did you just do to
No, no,
me?
no.
You just said
No,
what I said
that's
was
because, excuse
you
me,
said what I said was bullshit,
that's
and then you
fine.
put a bunch of words in my mouth. And I
Because
didn't
it
say
is,
anything.
because you sat here and told our listening audience that black folks, because they can't identify to you experience that they've gone through and why that's racism, that it's not racism and doesn't happen.
You can't
That is
prove
bullshit.
that it's racism. You can't
How
prove
can
that
you
it's
not?
racism.
They gave you examples of it, bro, and you just refuse to accept it. They gave you example of not getting a job,
Because
not getting a home.
So let me just put this here real quick. Okay, Jamar, what I heard Spike say was that he didn't say that they didn't say that racism didn't exist. He said, "What has it done to you?" And so I think the fair question.
Examples of it, and I heard. Listen, you don't need to repeat what he said. I heard exactly what the brother said. I also heard the brother say.
They can call me brother.
They could, and they gave you you are my brother. What do you mean?
Okay, let's talk.
They gave you examples. They gave you clear examples of their experiences of racism. You just didn't accept it. You just didn't accept it.
Correct, because I'm not going to accept examples. Hold on, friends. Let's pause.
That's you.
Let's pause. Because I'm not here to disrespect you on your show. This is your show. I'm in your space. I'm not here to disrespect your show. I'm an invited guest. I'm here to speak my truth. I'm speaking my truth. Okay. This is what I have come to find is that black people. Now we can be upset by this, but we need to pause and see why we're upset by this. Right? Black people. When I ask, how has racism held you back? Not us. You in our lifetime. That's a power. Just pause. Let's just talk about that question. Do you think that question has any validity, or do you think that question can like help us in any way, shape, or form? Do you think that's a valid question to ask?
It is a valid question. And so again, my brother,
let's talk about the answer. So let's talk about the responses.
Brother, you just didn't. Maybe you didn't like it, but they gave you examples of their experience of racism. You don't have to like it, Spike.
Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you don't like it because what I'm telling you is this.
Because I know that it's true.
Okay, but what I'm saying to you is this. Here's where you're not. I think here's where you might be missing. Someone not getting a loan, someone not getting an apartment, someone not getting that promotion. Do you think that happens to only black people, or does that happen to all people? Yes or no?
It happens to other people.
Okay, so let's pause. Let's pause, right? So if it happens to other people, how do you know that it's racism? How do you know? Did they call you the N-word? Did they hang a noose with you? Like, how do you know? Or hold on, because this is what we got to get to as a society. Or is it because you have been brought up in this reality that anything bad that happens to you is going to be because you're black? That now you have painted that this horrible experience that happens to every American at some point in their life as a racist issue. That's the discussion that I've had on my channel, and the people who have not been able to pause and just reflect and say, maybe are, in my opinion is not right, it's mine. Just like yours isn't right, it's yours. In my opinion, it's because they are indoctrinated to believe that anything that happens to them is because of their race, and that is problematic in black culture.
Spike, do you believe that racism still exists, brother?
Racism absolutely exists. It absolutely exists. Hold on, brother. We have figured out how to.
As you say, pause.
Okay. Yes, I do. Yes, it exists. Go ahead. Can you prove it? No.
Thank you. There you go. Okay. So you can't prove racism because wait a minute. So let me ask you. So wait a minute then. Then why is your answer yes? If racism exists, Spike,
it doesn't matter.
Then
it doesn't hold you back. How has it held you back? I said it very clear. Racism exists. How has it held you back specifically? Have you experienced racism? And how has it held you back? Answer the question. How has it held you back? How have you been held back by racism?
If I told you, you wouldn't accept it. If I told you, just like the other people that gave you examples, you don't accept folks' examples of the racism that they've experienced. You don't tend to accept
examples that happen to
all people.
I'm not going to accept examples that happen to all people because then
guess what?
Everybody experiences racism. Then it's not an issue.
Because other white folks, somebody white got water sprayed on them. The dogs that got sick on black folks, that didn't happen either. That's not racism.
Did that happen to you? How has racism held you back?
It didn't happen to other people. Does that mean that racism does exist? So you keep listen. This is what kills me about you, brother.
Go ahead.
You only like what you want to hear, brother.
No, I think
somebody gives you example.
You're projecting.
Excuse me. Pause. You're projecting. Because I've heard you tell me plenty of people give you examples of their experience of racism. You don't like it. You don't accept it. You say it doesn't. I say it doesn't exist. You say it doesn't exist. It can't be proven. Yet you say that racism exists, but it can't be proven. Wait a minute now. You can't have it both ways, homie.
So let me just jump in here, okay?
Go ahead. This is a great discussion.
Right. So here's what I'm hearing, and then I actually kind of want to move past and talk a little bit about some other experiences that you've had, Spike. So what I'm hearing is that, Jamar, you are saying that when people tell you that, yeah, I didn't get this job, I didn't get this apartment, I didn't get this thing, that's them telling, this is what I believe is racism. What I'm hearing Spike saying, okay, fine, you're saying that it was, but can you prove it? And this is where there's a disconnect, because for Spike and for me, I'm of the belief that if you can't prove to me that it was racist, like show me that it was racist. And it's hard, I get it, but that's kind of the issue for me, is that when you can't prove it, you're assuming it. And if you are the one that's assuming that's a racist action, then now we're playing the game of what my belief of what you're doing, I'm now projecting what I think you're doing. Unless the person says, listen, the reason you didn't get that job is because you're black and I hate black people.
Thank you.
And so that's that. So that I'm not trying to say that you're wrong, Jamar. But I think it's.
I ain't worried about him saying I'm wrong, because I know I'm right. He just got to accept the fact that when folks give you examples of their racism, well, whatever. But when folks give you the example of racism, brother, it's just that. You don't have to like it. And it's crazy that y'all talk about prove racism when y'all know white folks go through so much to make sure that racism is no longer overtly, because it's not legal anymore. So don't sit there and pull wool over folks' eyes, especially black folks, to tell them that their experience in racism isn't their experience of racism, because you don't like it. You can't touch it. Get me the hell out of here. Next copy, please.
I know that white folks do what? What are you saying? I don't know white folks do anything. I know that black people will say that something is racist. Listen, I worked at the bank for 8 years. I'm just going to say this real quick. I worked at the bank for 8 years. I was a branch manager, okay, at a fluent bank. Wells Fargo did my damn thing, okay. I helped a lot of black people get secure loans. I helped a lot of people secure loans and do that stuff, right? There was a post about this on TikTok that went absolutely apeshit viral, okay. And I'm sorry if I don't know if I can curse or anything.
Yeah, you can. Yep, you can.
There you go. It went apeshit viral, okay. And the reality is that this black kid went up and was denied. His check wasn't cashed because the teller was doing her job. Now, I was a manager for tellers. I did this. This boy got on TikTok crying, saying, I'm so tired of being black because this, that, and the third. And I'm like, hold up. No. That has nothing to do with you being black. This is called a bank process. You just don't know about the bank. I do. I can walk you through what happened. I'm a coon. I'm the Uncle Tom. I'm the one getting blocked. I'm the one getting my stuff blocked. This is the problem in black culture. It's a problem in black culture. What you experienced was not racism. It was actually equality. It was actually
no, because they said. See, what you're not saying though either, brother, is that it was racism. They sent the white man in. They sent the white guy in. They sent the white guy in. And she did not question the white guy like she did the brother. She did not call security. Excuse me. She did not call security on the brother like she did the white guy.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I think they're two different stories. But ultimately, we're gonna agree to disagree. I think it's a good understanding between these different aspects, because again, me and Spike are on the same side, and I understand where you're coming from, Jamar. And I think that it's okay, but I just don't like making that assumption. So let me ask you, Spike. There's another aspect of your life that is, I think, unique, and I kind of want to hear your perspective, right? So
go ahead.
In 2016 or 2020, did you vote for Trump?
I wish I voted for who's that? Was it Biden? I wish I would have voted for Trump. And honestly, I was about to. But I think they got correct me if I'm wrong, they got Kamala on there, and I was bamboozled. Okay, I was bamboozled. So that's what I want to say.
No, that's okay. And so again, when I heard kind of your journey, when I heard your journey, you said that you didn't really start.
I see why you get ridiculed on I do see why you get talked about on TikTok. Yeah.
So ultimately,
That's when they come after you on
so
TikTok.
ultimately, you didn't vote for Trump in 2016 or 2020, which is fine. But this is what I think makes it a more unique conversation. So you yourself are a gay man, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
I think so.
And yeah. Because I've heard you talk. You know, I've been married 17 years, and I actually forgot my wedding ring. It's the super weirdest thing. I literally called my wife on my way here, and I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot my ring." I never do it. But anyways,
I'm married to a white man. Just anybody wants to know, and he can cook and knows, and he's got seasonings. Okay, so just so you know.
So that's what I wanted to ask you about. That's what I wanted to ask you about, is that as you've started to interact more with people that are right of center, how has it been for yourself, you know, as a gay black man that challenges the narrative, man? And then also, so from the right, how was that experience been? And then tell me how it's been from the left.
I didn't know who I was until I started challenging who I was told to be. If that makes sense, okay? I didn't know who I was until I started challenging who I was told to be and indoctrinated to be. I know that word's a hot word right now, but I believe it. Indoctrinate. This is my next journey, is indoctrination, because indoctrination is a very interesting thing. And understand that I have found it on both sides. That's what Jamar might not want to hear right now, but I have found it on both sides. Both sides, the extremists, are heavily indoctrinated to believe what they believe, right? And you hit walls, right? So it's just like, Jamar can't see what I'm saying. Understand, white people, there are things that I challenge white people on that they can't see. But my experience going from right to or left to right has been this phenomenal, very welcoming, very inviting experience, right? And let me tell you something else. I have more black people in my life now, black men in my life now, than I ever had when I was a Democrat liberal. Ever in my entire, I'm 40 years old. Okay, 40 years old. I've never connected with more black men than I have in the last year. That's important. That's important. That's important. And the black men that I've connected with are black men who have free thinking minds, who challenge narratives, and they got. Listen, Javar, you laughing, baby? You laughing? But I'm your friend. I'm a fan. I'm telling you, I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of you.
I wonder what makes them free thinking, brother, when they think like you.
First of all, they can listen to what I'm saying and not react emotionally. That's number one. That's number one. Okay, that's if we're gonna call a spade, let's talk about it, right? They can listen to what I'm saying and they can say that it's not bullshit. They can say, "Huh, that's an interesting opinion." That's number one.
Keep it real like me.
Let's just call it. And I'm keeping it real too, and I can keep it real too, right? That's what makes them free thinking, is that they can sit in a room and they can talk to each other and they can see each other as equals and understand that, hey, we're not supposed to agree on everything, right? That's number one. So to answer your question, there's that, right? And that has been such a freeing, thing for me, and an inviting and welcoming thing for me. I'm more connected to black people now than I ever have been in my life. That's important. That's important to me. It's important to me. It sort of hell is. You know, I'm a light-skinned gay dude. Guess where I had the most people not wanting to hear my voice was when I was a Democrat, because I was a light-skinned black guy who's gay with green eyes. Come on, man. Let's talk about it. If we're going to talk about the colorism and the racism, let's actually start with us first, right?
Go try being a Republican then, as a gay black man. Go try that.
Say it again?
Go try being a gay black Republican then.
That's where I'm at right now, and I'm having it. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. What are you talking about? What you're doing right now is you're gaslighting. You're dismissing my experience because it's an indoctrination. I'm telling you.
So here's.
I didn't know I was indoctrinated till you told me tonight, brother. And thank you.
I know. And I didn't know that I was indoctrinated until I started challenging my own narrative. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna have to start. I promise you, after tonight's show, I'm gonna start challenging my free thinking self.
So I hope you do. So I'm not changing.
So this is what's so interesting to me. This is so interesting to me, Spike, is that, you know, your experience, especially when we talk about
my merch. Don't buy it.
You know,
this is my merch. Don't buy it. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, so I've heard about this before, and not just heard about it, but, you know, seen it, experienced that when you're gay in the black community, it's still pretty hard for other men to accept it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so
you don't have to be a Democrat. You just know that homosexuality is hard for black folks to deal with. Period. It has nothing to do with no damn political party, bro.
Okay, so again, I'm speaking my experience, and now you're telling me that it's not it. Go
No,
ahead.
it doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't go.
he's only lived it his whole life, Jamar. Just hear what he has to say.
I'm a Democrat all my damn life. So don't tell me that it's just Democrats.
Are you
it's
gay?
about the black community.
Are you gay?
No. But guess what, homie? My aunt that died, I grew up around homosexual all my life. My sister's gay. My sister. So you don't have to. I don't know you. My sister's gay. My sister's gay, and she doesn't have the same experience you have. Okay.
You telling me about me? I'm not telling you about your sister.
You're sitting here looping all Democrats as if all Democrats treat homosexuals that way, and I ain't gonna let you do that, homie. Not on this show. No, pause my ass. You pause with that mess that you're trying to come on my show selling.
Why are you so upset?
Brother, you don't know. If you don't know upset. If I was upset, you wouldn't be on. So what I'm telling you is that you're not going to come on here and try to tell my folks that every Democrat is bad because they think that black men with green eyes and gay are
I'm speaking from my experience. I'm speaking from my experience how you are. And again, this is that
you're looping them all, and you're looping them all, and you're looping us all, and you're looping us all. What I'm doing is not letting you come
I'm speaking from my experience, and you are equating it to all Democrats.
I'm speaking ours too.
Group thinking. This is that indoctrination, right? I said my experience, and you said you're not going to come here and tell me that all Democrats. I never said that. You said that.
You said Democrats. What's Democrats?
He said his experience with Democrats. He didn't say every Democrat.
My experience. You're not listening.
When you put an S on Democrats, what that mean? You didn't say some. You didn't say here in this city or in this area.
I said in my experience. Me. This black man with green eyes. This one right here. You're looking at him. Not your sister, not your aunt. Me. And you telling me about me. Speak on that.
Like you was telling me about how the other folks that told you about their about racism, that wasn't racism. Listen, again, you like to have it both ways. You know what? You're the worst. You're indoctrinated, brother.
So
and that's sad. Okay. What's sad is that you become indoctrinated. You become indoctrinated by the influence that you've had, right?
So Spike. So Spike, I wanted to be able to ask you about as you've had these interactions, right?
Yeah.
You know, how active were you in, I guess, Democrat politics? I looked through your Facebook, right? And I saw that your Black Lives Matter, you were out there doing it, you know, like I saw a bunch of your stuff, right?
Thank you for bringing that up. And I'm really happy that you brought that up, and I'm happy that you did your work, because I see and you can see the difference. I don't know how long Jamar had to do the.
He didn't have. He's been traveling. Yeah, no, he usually does a lot of research. No, he does.
I'm in love with that, but in my lived experience, a lot of black Democrats, in my lived experience, Jamar, I'm just going to put this out there. My lived experience, they don't do the research. They have no idea who I am. Y'all can go look at my YouTube and see the work that I've done. I did a whole special on Breonna Taylor, and I made sure that all black women were featured. Even a black trans woman was on there. And I've done the work. And so when I speak from experience. I speak from the work that I've done, and I'm not just speaking on my ass, right? And so, I'm happy that you did that. So answer your question again. I'm sorry. I asked you your question again.
Yeah.
I'm proud that you did that research. Right?
Yeah. So my question is that through these experiences that you've had, I know that you're not a person that generalizes, because it seems as though you're awakening, that you have, I guess, in a way, awoken the idea of individuality, right?
Oh man,
and I think that that's important, because being a group identitarian, which is very common on the left, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing on an individual basis, but when you see that your group is being attacked, you become defensive. And I know Jamar, his group's very clear: Black, Democrat. You attack those groups, he comes out with knives drawn, because those are very important to him. So I guess for you, I find your story fascinating. I've heard a lot that it is difficult for black men that are gay, just in the black community, right? And because the black community has a lot of Democrats, right? That's just a part of it, right? I'm not saying it's because they're Democrats, because
Lamar,
right?
You go ahead.
Just hear me. Hear me out.
Just stop generalizing as a party. It's not a fucking
party. That's what I'm saying. That's if you listen to me, Jamar. If you listen to me,
y'all gotta quit saying that bullshit.
No, I'm saying that in general.
You keep saying that, Jamar. I've not heard that from AK or myself. I've heard that from you all night.
So just let me explain. In general, right? black people, percentage-wise, are more Democrats. Would you agree, Jamar? Right.
Listen, I'm gonna say
So,
this to you one more time.
right. So I'm
Black folks, doesn't matter the party, because folks in down south do not all identify, especially my kinfolk, they're not all Democrats. They have a problem with
Sure.
homosexuality. It is conservative. He knows this. And you know this, AK.
Nope.
It is a
Tell
problem
me
in
what I
the black
know.
community.
Tell me what I know. You tell me what I know.
You're ignoring it. You're ignoring it. But you know
So,
it's a
so I
problem
can
in the
can
black
I say the same
community.
for you? Can I say the same for you that you're ignoring some very key facts? Can I say the same for you? Because you're ignoring some stuff. You're ignoring what I'm saying. And you're jumping to that conclusion. So it goes both ways. We got to pause and realize that we are being bamboozled as a society. And we ain't ever going to get there, Jamar, until we realize that I'm not your damn enemy and you aren't mine, right? And so all this angst that we have to each other just because we hear a trigger word, right? How are you oppressed? How are you specifically? Pause. Pause. It ain't even that serious. Let's open our minds and consider. Because guess what? Guess who doesn't want us to do that? Jamar, who do you think doesn't want us to open our minds and just talk to each other? Who? It's racist, right? If we're gonna go back to racism, who do you think, if we talk about white supremacy, what would a white supremacist not want us to do? Don't you think they would not want us to come together and realize that there are two different sides that are being played against each other? Don't you think a white supremacist, that would be their ultimate plan? Yes or no?
Racism, you mean to tell me they're all right supremacists?
Jamar, let's see, what we're not going to do is this. We're not going to tiptoe around these issues. You the one saying all this stuff, right? So answer my question. You the one who racism an issue, right? So racism is an issue. If racism is an issue, who's doing it? White supremacists. Would you agree? So white supremacists, don't you think that they wouldn't want us to come together? Yes or no?
I agree.
Okay, so then why is it so hard for you to come together with another black man who thinks differently than you?
Same reason it is for you to come together.
Baby, I'm listening to you. You're cutting me off and telling me my opinion is bullshit.
No,
you're speaking for me. I'm not speaking for you.
Because you're generalizing Democrats, you're generalizing black Democrats. And I'm not going to let you do that, bro.
Indoctrination is insidious. Indoctrination is insidious.
And
I know that I'm not indoctrinated because I've changed.
Oh, no, you're woke now.
No, I'm not woke. I have challenged my thoughts. I've changed the way I think. Have you done that?
Awake.
Have you challenged the narrative?
Every day.
So
not today. Just not today.
Let me ask you this, Spike. Let me ask you. Tell me about the work that it is that you do. I know that as you've had this journey, you've moved through, and you know what? I'm doing hard turns right now, baby. I'm doing hard turns.
Doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
Tell me a little bit about you have your link tree, AWAIC.
All we are is content. And Jamar, do you know what that stands for? Awake.
Oh, that's what that is. All we are is content.
All we are is content. I'm a content creator. I create content. Okay. And so one day I just was like, all we are is content. That came to me and I was like, I love that. And then just the acronym happens to be awake. Go figure. I didn't plan that, but it just is what it is. And so, but what's great about it is that the content that I create is about challenging who we are as people and pushing the envelope and really telling the stories of people who don't necessarily get to speak, right? The people who don't have a voice, the underdogs in America. And that's the kind of content that I create. If you look at my content on YouTube, you'll see that I've been doing this. I've been speaking for people who don't necessarily have a voice. And what's amazing about that is that I found my voice when I challenged who I was. And so that's what I love about this entire experience. And that's what no one can take away from me. No, I mean, people's opinions, one of the biggest things I say is this: your opinion isn't right, it's yours. Okay? Being offended isn't a flex, it's a concern. And all are welcome, no one's safe. That's the platform that I run, that's the content that I create, is that everything's up for discussion. And if you lack the skill set, okay, if you lack the skill set to engage in the discussion, tap out. No issues, right? But after the pandemic woke my black ass up. I'm gonna tell you something right now. The pandemic woke my black ass up and made me realize that ain't nobody care about us. Not black people, not white people, nobody cares about any of us. These people at the top, these elitists, they don't give a damn about you, Jamar, about you, AK. They don't care. They don't care about. They use racism to distract. Racism is a distraction. You cannot prove somebody was racist unless they had a noose out your window, unless they said, listen, N-word, I'm not giving you this job because of this N-word. Unless they said that's you, you have no idea. You You are assuming that it's racism, and no one, and that just is what it is, and that is part of indoctrination. White people on the other side, they don't think that they're part of the problem. That's a huge problem. Huge problem. White people.
What do we do about that, then? How do you wake up white folks that don't believe that they're part of the problem?
I'm doing the work. I'm doing that work, and I'll speak loudly and proudly about that, because that's what a lot of Black people, specifically Black people that I've dealt with, who are Democratic, don't get. They don't get the work that I'm doing. I have a platform, man. My community on TikTok. You should get on TikTok, man. The conversations that I have on TikTok, no one's safe. Nobody's safe, and I know that no one's safe. I make white people really, truly. I make white people more uncomfortable than I make Black.
So yesterday, I watched your live, and you had a trans man, correct? Yeah. Right? You had a trans man.
No, trans woman. Trans woman.
I'm sorry. I'm bad with the terminology. Can you enlighten me? So if someone is born female and they transition to male, is it a trans man or trans woman?
Let me break it down to you like this, man. There's a lot of discussion going on in the trans space, right? And the biggest thing is that was the discussions that I'm having around the transgender issue, not issue, but the transition energy that's going on, is that women are being affected. Women, natural born women are being affected because penises are entering their spaces. Bottom line. Penises are in their locker rooms. Penises are male testosterone is in their sports. Trans women are dominating women's sports and creating a different league that women will never be able to compete against. We got to start talking about that, right? We have to start talking about that, and we have to do it in a way that people are going to understand. That's what I do on my channel.
And so the person that was on with you, right?
Yeah, one of my best friends. She's awesome. She's a transgender woman.
Okay.
Her name is Becca. And she's a white transgender woman, and she also challenges narratives on TikTok. She challenges narratives on TikTok, and so her and I we're in it. We're doing the work.
And so,
unless you're challenging a narrative, you're not doing the work.
And so this is what was so interesting to me, right? Is that when you talk about challenging narratives, right? The fact that you're this creator, right? You have a large following, and you do have people that are right of center that come in, and it gives them an opportunity to maybe hear something that they maybe wouldn't stumble into themselves.
I have extremists on both sides. Understand, like I don't like to say platform. I call it a community. My community has all walks. It has liberals. It's got Democrats. It's got Republicans. It's got conservatives. It's got independents, and it's got libertarians. Okay.
I was gonna say flat earthers.
Hey, baby. Hey, unless you go down that rabbit hole, don't sleep. Don't sleep on flat earth now. Have you gone down that rabbit hole? I'm a conspiracy weirdo. I love going down conspiracy rabbit holes, but I'm one of those guys that says you got to prove it to me. But I will entertain any idea. You know what, Spike? It's been awesome having you on. Can you again tell people how to find you and how to connect with you? It's over.
I know, man.
This was fantastic. No, I love it. Thank you. This is fun. Hey, Jamar, I freaking love you, man. And listen, I would love to continue connecting with you.
Make sure you have me on your show. Make sure you have us on your show.
What's up?
Make sure you have us on your show.
I'm building my show. I would love to do that, Jamar. I think. Listen, get on TikTok, friend. Get on TikTok. Join my community. You got a powerful voice. Just drop the language. Drop the name call. But I would love to have you in my community and just challenge me. Not challenge, but let's just have a discussion. My channel is all about let's discuss. We discuss. We don't debate. We don't argue. We have discussions, and then we have takeaways. In a discussion, there's no right or wrong in a discussion. There's only takeaways, right? So find me on TikTok. They're going to include the link. It's just awake, awaic.co. Figure it out, guys. Find me out. Just post my link tree. And this has been absolutely awesome, guys. I love you guys.
And we need more people like you in the stratosphere, bro, that does challenge both sides, And so I think folks, especially that don't know Black folks, tend to think and so you'd have folks thinking that we were arguing and mad. Boy, you don't know I'm mad and angry. I've been married twice. So this is just. But we need people like yourself and myself to challenge both sides, right? And so, because there's a commonality. You can drive a jalopy, I can drive a broken Cadillac, but we're trying to get to the same place. And so, I will always stand with you, bro. Give you this space, any space to speak your truths. I'm just gonna push back like you push back, and it never upsets me that we do that because that's what we're supposed to do, brother. I love you for that. So
I love you, and I
AK
see you.
told me about your work. I absolutely
Here's a
support
challenge
you.
for you. Here's a challenge for you. Go to a Trump rally. Just go. Just go to a Trump rally.
My gun.
Listen. Go to a Trump rally. Buy a hat and go live. That's what y'all do that on your show. Just do it. Yeah. Have the courage.
No, listen. Jamar is not willing to revoke his black card. All right, he is not. Well, he will not give it up. He will not give it up.
You will see how much your people care about you. Trust me.
This is what I do. I swear to goodness. I swear to goodness. This is what we do. If somewhere, what state are you in?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's make it happen. I don't give a damn.
If some state in between, I swear to goodness, I'll go with you. I will go.
That would be awesome. Yeah, let's do it.
I will go with you.
We're gonna do this.
I promise I'll go with you.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Spike. Thank you, man. So
this has been wonderful. You guys are doing a great job. I'm proud of you, brothers. I see you, black men. I see you. I love you.
Love you, bro. Keep it
later, man. So Jamar, man, you
love him.
You're gonna be up in no man's land for like the next week.
And honestly, I'm not gonna spend too much time talking because we in the sundown time and too many Negroes can't be here at the light. I just told Kelly, I said, when they pull us over, they gonna say, you know how many Negroes is in this town? Just you.
They think that you're dealing drugs to her. That's what they're gonna think. They're gonna be like, what are you doing around here?
Nice white girl in the town with you, boy. What you doing?
Oh man, you know what? I just want to shout out one more time our sponsor, TakeCharge Minnesota. At TakeCharge Minnesota, they are doing the work of restoring the two-parent black family. They believe the key priority to embrace 3 foundational values of faith, family, and getting a better education is how you move forward with the black community. TakeCharge is releasing a film entitled I Am a Victor on May 6th, which chronicles the 2 cultural paths followed by black Americans. And as a result of those 2 paths, over the last 50 years, since the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it's had a profound impact. Visit the film's website, imavictor.com, to sign up and stay up to date, the latest news about the movie, and play the trailer, producer man.
What Martin Luther King did, that was pretty fast forward and just really changing the mindset in many people. The start of that, you're gonna treat a human being like another human being.
And that's a dream that I shared, and that's the road I thought we were on.
We are not victims.
And again, if you liked what you saw, please share the link to our podcast page. Make sure to visit our Linktree, connect with us on all of our socials. That way you can connect with me. I'm up to 14.9 thousand followers. Not big dog and too big, but Spike it? Yeah. No, you need to jump on. You need to grow it up. Yeah.
And a player like me makes me know and makes me believe that.
Man, Jenga's gonna kill that boy.
Exactly.
You just love that drop, bro. Even when you're not in studio, man, you still love that drop, bro.
I still love it. We have the greatest producer in the world. Hey, AK, man, listen, I want to thank you for being patient and thank the viewers and listeners tonight for being patient with me and me losing light and losing my voice. Traveling is a biscuit, and I am not trying to, not be someone to just throw something at the TV, trying to be actively involved and, try to change my community, myself, and seriously, America. I don't mean to sound like a windbag, but, try to help change America too as well. So I appreciate you, bro, and I appreciate our producer and Spike as well. Anywhere you guys can find Spike's material, please go out on TikTok and any place else to find him. Brother is fantastic, and we truly support him. So thank you for that. And, thank you, AK.
All right, man. Be safe out there. Safe travels. You're out in rural country. That's where I grew up. I was born in the rural. No, I was actually born in California, but raised in North Dakota. You know what? People are people, bro. You know, just don't be all sketchy and you'll be all right. Yeah, don't run around with your hood up, Trayvon. Don't be doing that now.
Shouldn't put my hood up. Shouldn't put my hood up.
You should not. Dog.
You're right.
Well, I'm AK Mart. I don't know how to speak. I'm AK Kamara.
I'm traveling Jamar.
And I'm Gabe, the producer. What are you guys waiting for?
That's it, man. We're done, bro. It's a wrap.
We got a lot of clothes. So we go.
Peace.